Hey guys, welcome back to Trippin'. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about how much does it cost to live in China, and specifically Beijing, China, because that's where Yvonne and I live. So we're going to look at 8 categories, and those 8 categories will include rent, groceries and household items, utilities, ordering and eating out, and then we'll talk about transportation, entertainment, miscellaneous, and then finally the 8th category is a cleaning lady, which is called an IE, who comes by once a week and cleans our house. She does a lot of the mopping and general cleaning to keep our house in order. So we'll look at the monthly average. I've recorded our expenses for 1 year, so we'll look at the monthly average, how much we paid each month on an average, and then we'll talk about the year total, how much we spent in 1 year living in Beijing. So let's go ahead and jump into this video, and we'll just start breaking it down in these 8 categories and give you the total at the end. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started with the first thing on our list, which is probably the biggest thing for most people, which is rent. So as you can see here in our spreadsheet, we spend 6,000 renminbi per month, and I will convert everything into US dollars and euros so that if you're watching from the United States or from Europe, you'll understand what the prices are. So we pay 6,000 renminbi per month, and it's actually pretty decent for the location. We live within the second ring road, so we're kind of in the heart of the city. There's lots of websites you can visit to find out what the price is. A lot of our foreign friends who also live here in Beijing will pay anywhere from 6 all the way up to maybe 15,000 renminbi per month. So in our location, in our apartment, we actually have a pretty good deal. We pay 6,000 a month. So rents, obviously, depending on where you are and what your budget is, but that is a big part of everybody's overall budget. So moving on, the next one on our list is groceries and household items. So you can see here, we pay about 1,600 renminbi per month. So every time we go to the grocery store, we spend about 400 renminbi, which is pretty reasonable for 2 people. Household items, these can include things like dish soap or bleach or detergent or anything that you might find in your household. So we pay about 60 renminbi per month, which is not very much. But you know, when you buy things in bulk, you usually don't have to buy that many things or every month. So when it averages out, it's only about 60 renminbi per month. Personal care, this is 667 roughly. So about 100 US dollars per month on personal care, and this can be getting haircuts or things like that, maybe a massage or something related to that. Cat things is next on the list, and so cat things, we have 2 cats, which I'm sure you've seen in some of the other videos, and so we spend about 450 renminbi per month on our cats, and this is including food, and when we go on vacation, we'll put them in a cat hotel for the time that we're gone so somebody can look after them. So that includes everything related to our cats. This expense might be more if you have more pets or if you have a dog, or you might not have this expense at all, but just an idea of having an animal, some kind of pet, you might spend around 450 on it in terms of food and taking care of it. Clothing, again, we don't go shopping for clothing every month, so this one averages out to about 127 renminbi per month. So we often buy things seasonally. January's winter, so we probably went and bought some sweaters, and then July and May, June, and July, kind of those months are summertime, so we might have went and got some shorts or some summer clothes. Moving on to our utilities, it averages out to 25 renminbi per month. And gas here, when we look at this column, gas here in China is actually very cheap. So we only paid 1 time in the whole year, which was 300 renminbi, and so it averages out to 25 renminbi per month. Water, we pay that usually on a monthly basis, so it's anywhere from 44 to 88, as you can see on the spreadsheet. So we spend about, but roughly about 55 per month. Electricity, the same. We put about 500 renminbi on about every 3 months. And so the average for that per month was about 270 renminbi. The internet, we bought our internet for 2 years. When we buy it for 2 years, it's usually about 3,000 renminbi. So we can say that this is probably about 1,500 for the year. And then our phones, we put about 100 kwai on our phones each month. As you can see all the way out, we put about 100 on our phones each month. And this is for 2 people, so it's pretty cheap, about 170 per month. Eating out, like I said at the beginning of this video, we like to go out. This is a food channel as much as it is a travel channel, and we love to eat. So we eat out quite regularly, and so we spend about 1,100 per month on eating out. So about 1,100 renminbi per month. And we also order in. Like I said, here in China, it is very cheap to order food and have it delivered to your door. It's not necessarily cheap, but it is convenient to have it ordered. And it can be cheap also. But here we spend about 1,150 renminbi per month. So quite a bit, but at the same time, it's convenient. And it's just, that's what it is. And then finally, in our eating out column, we also have snacks and drinks. And so this can include coffee like Starbucks, or getting snacks at the grocery store if you want a bag of chips or you want a Coke or something like that. This doesn't really fall into grocery. So I work and I'll go to the convenience store almost every day and buy, some kind of snack, maybe a cookie or a drink or something like that. And so we spend about 640 renminbi per month on snacks on average. So transport is next. So transportation is obviously you got to get around. One of the good things about transportation here in Beijing is you can take the subway, which is very, very convenient and takes you just about everywhere. So I take the subway every day to work. Yvonne bikes to work because she's very close to her work. She can bike to work in about 15 minutes, and since she's Dutch and she loves biking, she bikes to work. So that only costs us a little bit per year for bike repairs if there's a flat tire or something along those lines. As for the subway, I take the subway every day and every day to work, so 5 days a week. And I spend about 100 renminbi a month. Averaged out, it's 140 renminbi per month. So really cheap for us to get around. The other column is taxis or bikes. Again, this is bike repairs. If Yvonne has an issue with her bike and she needs to get it repaired, maybe a new tire. So that will go into this column. And then also I sometimes will ride a mobike. So bike sharing here in Beijing is very common. You can see the bikes everywhere. And if you know anything about China, I'm sure you've seen lots of pictures of the mobikes or OFOs, which are the yellow ones. So we pay for taxis, obviously, and then for bikes and bike repairs. And this is about 175 renminbi per month once it averages out. As you can see here, I also have flights, accommodation, and spending for travel. But because everybody's travel habits are different, we won't include that in the total for this. Because some people might travel more than us, and some people might travel less. So that's a very personal column. But you can see that about every month we have a travel expense. So especially during the summer and during the Spring Festival and during the Chinese New Year, we often travel. So we'll travel 3 to 4 times a year, and those will include our flights and our accommodations and the spending when we're actually traveling. But again, that's different for every single person. The other thing that we have moving on is miscellaneous. So as you can see under miscellaneous, these are things that are not necessarily falling under the other categories. Maybe there's a birthday party and we buy a gift. Maybe we go home for Christmas and we buy gifts. So it doesn't really fall into regular spending, but every family and every household has those miscellaneous expenses that don't really fall into anything. Maybe we need to repair something that's not a bike. For example, dry cleaning could fall under miscellaneous, or getting our clothes repaired. So those kinds of things will fall under miscellaneous, and everybody has those expenses. So we spend about 626 renminbi per month on miscellaneous, averaged out. And as you can see, we had two big expenses in that category. Again, this could be something like going to the hospital or the dentist, something like that. We also have insurance and student loans here in this tab, but I left that blank. I didn't include that into the total because everybody's insurance and loans will be different based on each individual and how much they have to pay for their student loans or their insurance. As for our websites, we also have some websites here that we run. So I didn't add that into the total because most people don't run websites. And then finally, we have entertainment. So DVDs. Here in China, there's a DVD shop where we'll go buy DVDs, and you can see about every 2 months we go out and we get a few DVDs. And that's about 42 renminbi per month averaged out over the year. As for events, we also go to events, and these can be going to the movies. This can be going to a concert. This can be going to some kind of sports event. Anything like that falls under the events. We also have networking events that we sometimes go to meet other people, or if there's some kind of digital marketing thing happening in China and I'm interested in going to it, I might go to this event. And so you can see averaged out, we pay about 228 renminbi per month on average. And then other entertainment would be, again, maybe buying books or buying something like games. We often play games with some of our friends, have a game night. So buying games or things like this fall under entertainment and then other. And so we spend about 185 per month on entertainment under the other category, which isn't really necessarily classified as a specific thing, but we just consider the expense to be entertainment. And then finally, we have, like I said at the beginning, we have an IE, which is a cleaning lady, and she comes 4 times a month, and we pay her 800 renminbi per month. All right, guys, so there you have it. The monthly average for 1 year was 14,665 renminbi, and this is roughly about 2,175 US dollars, or 1,915 euros. So it's pretty reasonable for 2 people. That's not too bad considering we're living in a capital city. So Beijing is one of the largest cities in the world, and it's also one of the most expensive here in Asia. So we do okay. We don't spend too much. If you are somebody who is an extreme saver, you could probably get away with 10 to 12,000 renminbi per month. And this would really come down to where you're living in terms of rent. We pay 6,000, but you could share an apartment, get a room with a roommate, and maybe pay 3,000 a month. Of course, you wouldn't have the whole apartment to yourself. So you could save a little bit on rent. Obviously, we spend a lot on eating out and also ordering, so we could save a little bit of money there. And then also, we wouldn't necessarily need an IE or a cleaning person if we just did it ourselves. So there are some places that we could save money. So if you are the type of person who is on a tight budget, you could probably spend 10 to 12,000 renminbi per month here in Beijing. Now, if you are somebody who spends a lot, I would say your average would probably be closer to 18 to 20,000 renminbi. Obviously, it could go higher. So the year total, and this is probably what everybody is most interested in, is our year total, and this is going to include our flights and our websites and our insurance. So this is actually how much we spent for the whole year, our budget. So everybody's budget will be a little bit different, but our total budget for the year was 238,363 renminbi. So 238,000 renminbi basically for 1 year. And that converts to 35,300 US dollars roughly. So about 35,000 US dollars to live in Beijing as 2 people who go out regularly and live a pretty decent life. And in terms of euros, it's about 31,000 euros per year to live in Beijing. So again, if you are somebody who likes to save a lot of money, you could probably live at closer to 30,000 US dollars. If you spend a bit more, maybe 45,000 US dollars. So I hope you guys found this useful. If you live in China or if you live in Beijing, leave a comment below and let me know how much you spend per month because I am generally interested in what people spend to see if we're overspending or to see if we're kind of in line. If you found this useful, give it a thumbs up and then subscribe to our channel because we'll probably bring out more videos like this. Maybe the cost of traveling in China versus living, because it's very different when you're traveling or when you're living. Maybe we'll do some other videos about money if people find this interesting. So leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.